What's going on, guys? It's your boy Dom Kemp, and tonight we are back here with another podcast. This time we're going to the NBA, guys. Last night was some top soccer news around the world, and now we are on the NBA. So hopefully you guys go on to enjoying this podcast. If you do go on to enjoy it, please hit a thumbs up on it and subscribe if you are new to the channel. But guys, we got some top headlines going on. The first one is Gordon Hayward from the Boston Celtics says it's awesome to get out of the walking boot, guys. So he's on his step to rehab, as in Gordon Hayward, the small forward in the first game of the season, ended up hurting his leg, guys, real badly. So he's out for an extended amount of time, but he's happy he's out of the walking boot. Let's read what ESPN had to say about it right now. Boston Celtics forward Gordon Hayward shed his walking boot Wednesday, less than 2 months after his gruesome opening night injury in Cleveland. In the latest step in his recovery from a fractured ankle, Hayward got the okay from his doctors to go boot-free Wednesday, wearing just a small brace on his left ankle. Hayward was able to walk without an aid at a community event at the Boys and Girls Club of Boston. And I quote, "The process is always fluid and can change at any time. But for me, today was the day where I walk around without the boot at all," Hayward told ESPN before giving a motivational speech to a group of teens and playing the video game Destiny 2 with them. And I quote, "And so I'm going to try to move forward without the boot, depending on how my foot reacts, how much activity I'm able to do on it without being sore. I could move back into the boot, or I could never look back and never see the boot again. I'm just taking it day by day. Today has been awesome so far without the boot." In recent weeks, Hayward has graduated from shooting out of a chair to shooting flat-footed in his boot. Each step in his recovery stokes questions about whether he might be able to return this season. For his part, Hayward had said he is simply focused on each day and eager to see where that leads him. And I quote, "I think I'm a goal-oriented type of person, so I set my sights on a short-term goal and just focus on that until that goal is completed," Hayward said. "I have a great group of people around me. The Celtics staff has been phenomenal, accommodating to everything that I need. My trainer, Jason Smethers, is here. My wife, Robin, at home. Everybody is keeping me motivated and making sure that I'm sticking with protocol. It's definitely like a team thing for me. I have a lot of people that are helping me that make it easier." The Celtics have maintained that they do not expect Hayward back this season, but Boston coach Brad Stevens said the team will not put limitations on what he tries to do. Stevens has made sure that Hayward has scheduled times for shooting and treatment each day, much like the other players on Boston's active roster. The Celtics also hang Hayward's number 20 jersey in his locker room stall before games, another small reminder that he remains a part of the team. Hayward said the daily shooting and rehab routine has helped him concentrate on the recovery process. And I quote, "I think it really helps with the routine. It gives me something to track, to look at, and says, okay, this is my schedule for the week. This is what I'm going to do each day," Hayward said. "It allows me to kind of keep moving forward. That's been good." Before Boston's game Wednesday night against the Denver Nuggets, Stevens was asked about Hayward getting out of the boot. And I quote, It's another box to check," Stevens told reporters. "There's a big difference between getting out of a boot and playing in an NBA game, though. So he's got a long way to go, but it's good that he has these things as goals, and he keeps checking them off. And he's working really diligently at it, and he feels good about that, so that's a good thing." Hayward, who joined the Celtics courtside for a November 16 home victory against the Golden State Warriors, expects to be around the team at games more frequently as he gets healthier. Stevens said he believes it will be a while before Hayward joins the team on road trips. So pretty interesting right there, guys, for Gordon Hayward in that sense. Really just getting back on the recovery trail, guys. So happy he is getting back on the recovery trail, because I do want to see him play with Kyrie Irving in the Boston Celtics. That is going to be awesome. But, guys, hopefully praying for a speedy recovery for Gordon Hayward, guys. A speedy recovery indeed. Golden State Warriors Green shoulder. He is doubtful for the Mavericks, guys. So it looks like Draymond Green has an injury. His shoulder is injured, guys. So let's actually read about it. It's a sore shoulder. Let's read about it. Golden State Warriors power forward Draymond Green, who is nursing a sore right shoulder, was ruled as doubtful for Thursday night's home game against the Dallas Mavericks. The reigning NBA Defensive Player of the Year did not participate in practice on Wednesday. Warriors head coach Steve Kerr said the team is just being cautious, nothing that is not a serious matter. Noting that it is not a serious matter. Green was held out of Monday's home win over the Portland Trail Blazers on the season. He's averaging 10.1 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 7.3 rebounds. What? Averaging 10.1 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 7.3 rebounds. What the heck? Okay. The Warriors are dealing with other injuries as well. Stephen Curry, right ankle sprain, and Nick Young, concussion protocol, did not practice on Wednesday either. However, Zaza Pachulia, who is dealing with shoulder soreness, went through a full practice after sitting out the past 2 games, but he is listed as doubtful for Thursday's contest. Golden State is riding a 7-game winning streak. So interesting right there, guys. Hopefully as well for a speedy recovery for Draymond Green, a great player, a great overall person on the Golden State Warriors. Have to give him credit, guys. He is trying to fight that shoulder soreness. Moving on, OKC's Paul George, Pacers successful, brings closure. Pretty interesting right here, guys. That is right. Oklahoma City went to Indiana, my apologies, and played the Pacers tonight, where Victor Oladipo dropped 19. And then I believe Paul George dropped a little bit more. This is his first return home to Indiana since joining the Oklahoma City Thunder. Let's go. As he returns to Indianapolis to play in the arena he called home for his first 7 NBA seasons, Oklahoma City Thunder forward Paul George said Wednesday that he has regrets about how things ended with the Pacers, but he also has closure. And I quote, "I think both sides, myself and the front office, would definitely like to have handled things better," George said. "I for sure will take ownership on that, but I have no regrets on the outcome." George declined to say specifically what those regrets are. "I know what I would have changed," he said, "but I'll keep that to myself." Following last season, George's agent met with the Pacers front office to inform them that he would not re-sign as an unrestricted free agent next summer. That set off the necessity for Pacers to trade him. And Indiana ultimately sent George to Oklahoma City for Victor Oladipo and Domantas Sabonis. Back in Indiana, where he played in college, Oladipo has flourished, averaging a career-high 24.5 points per game. He's coming off a career-best 47-point game as the Pacers sit a surprisingly 16-11 record heading into Wednesday's game against the Thunder, who are 12-4. Which, guys, the Indiana Pacers ended up losing to Oklahoma City. It's more of Indiana doing well where they are at now. That was closure for me, George said. At the end of the day, when we reached out to the front office to tell them our plans, our future plans, it was to help them along the way. And it was bad at first. So to speak that they thought with this trade, it wasn't going to pan out, but it obviously did. And I quote, they got 2 great young pieces, so that was good for me to see that this franchise changed the locker room and is going in the right direction. With him slotting into the go-to role that was held down by George for so many seasons, Oladipo said recently that he's sick and tired of comparisons between the two. George echoed those sentiments Wednesday. And I quote, "Vic has been phenomenal here, and I would love to piggyback on what Vic said in terms of being compared to me," George said. "I don't think you guys or Indiana in general is giving him the respect. I'm done. I'm over with. I moved on, and it's Vic's time. And he's doing great here. It's not right. Vic has worked extremely hard on his game. He worked extremely hard to get to the point where he's at. He was great coming into this league, and he's only been mentored by great people playing with Russ Westbrook while with OKC. Now this is his opportunity to lead a team, and he's being compared to somebody he was traded for. This is his team. Let him lead and let him start this era on good terms. From what it sounds like, you guys are annoying him with the comparisons early. Let him live. Let this be his city." George said he expects to be booed by Pacers fans because, as he noted Tuesday, there are more Pacer fans than Paul George fans. But he said he won't be bothered by it. "I might be nervous off the court being booed," George said, "but being on the court, it's my comfort zone. It's basketball. It's what I do. I'm not losing sleep over it. I'm living my dream, getting to play in the NBA, getting to play basketball. If I get booed, I get booed. It's part of the game. It'll make for a good show, and I'm looking forward to it on ESPN." Interesting right there, guys. Paul George returned to Indiana, my apologies, where the Oklahoma City Thunder won 100-95 against the 16-12 now Pacers, and Oklahoma improves their record to 13-14. Moving on, John Wall is having some problems. Let's speak about that in a quick second. Wizards get John Wall back from knee injury after 2 weeks. So guys, finally, John Wall's back on the court after having a knee problem in the past 2 weeks of play. Wizard star John Wall is returning from a knee injury on Wednesday against the Memphis Grizzlies, according to Washington coach Scott Brooks. The point guard will be in the starting lineup after missing more than 2 weeks with discomfort and inflammation in his left knee. Wall received platelet-rich plasma and viscosupplementation injections to reduce the inflammation after the injury was diagnosed via an MRI on November 24th. He initially was injured during a November 7th loss to the Dallas Mavericks. Wall sat out a loss to the Toronto Raptors on November 19th due to knee soreness. He last played in a November 22nd in a defeat at the Charlotte Hornets, scoring a season-high 31 points. He previously said that the fluid on his knee had built up after he received IV fluids to deal with illness and migraines before the Wizards hosted the Atlanta Hawks on November 11th. Dr. Richard D. Parker with the Cleveland Clinic Marymount was consulted about the injury. Parker performed a procedure in May 2016 to remove oh my gosh, how do you say this? calcific deposits in Wall's left patella tendon. Wall's averaging 20.3 points and 3.4 rebounds per game. He leads the Wizard and is third in the NBA with 9.2 assists per game. Awesome. Speaking about that right there, guys. In that sense, John Wall finally returning back to some NBA play. Next up is sources. Lakers ask Lavar Ball to tone it down. So the father of Lonzo Ball, if you don't know this, then I don't know where you are at. But the father of Lonzo Ball, guys, has been criticizing the coach for the Lakers, Bill Walton, in a various numbers of ways. And, of course, saying his son needs to be pushed harder, worked harder, things of that sort. But, guys, this is what the meeting was about when LeVar met up with Lakers owner Magic Johnson, as well as, of course, the rest of the crew. Here it goes. The Los Angeles Lakers front office recently had a meeting with LeVar Ball, the outspoken father of rookie point guard Lonzo Ball, asking him to tone down some of his public criticism of head coach Luke Walton and help create a more positive atmosphere around his son, sources told ESPN. The meeting, which took place within the past few weeks, was called by Lakers president of basketball operations, my apologies, not Noner, Magic Johnson, and general manager Rob Pelinka. LeVar Ball confirmed that the meeting took place, telling ESPN, and I quote, "It was the best thing, man. Everybody's going to try to make it an ego thing, like I'm trying to tell them what to do, or they are trying to tell me to tone it down. It's not about that. It's about coming together and to get a solution to this problem." And I quote, "It may sound crazy to other people, but I really just want the best for Lonzo, and the best for Lonzo is going to be what's best for the organization, because if everybody's winning, we good." Johnson and Pelinka declined to comment when asked about the meeting. A Lakers insider said the main message to Ball was what they have tried to keep their relationship positive while still allowing him to speak his mind, and they'd prefer he did the same. When Ball said he agreed with that in the characterization for the most part, and that he told Johnson Pelinka he understood their position and would try to abide by that request. And I quote, "I'm going to say whatever I want to say, however I want to say it," Ball said. And they said, "LeVar, come and talk to us first." So that's fine too. And I quote, "But I'm going to say to plant a seed. Let's look for this now. They may not want to hear that, but it's going to be successful. If you listen to what I'm saying on that fact that I know what it takes for my son to run like this." Ball said he does not have a direct relationship with Walton, whom he has criticized for not playing his son for long enough stretches, among other things. And I quote, "I never talk to Luke on account of the fact that I can't. He's either at practice or after the game. He's doing it. He's doing his thing, and I'm doing mine," Ball said. "I understand I talked to Luke way before the season starts." For this part, Walton has consistently declined to comment or give oxygen to Ball's criticism. "Anyone that says anything about us, not just him, LeVar Ball, but annoy, if you are not part of our group or circle, have whatever opinion you want. It doesn't matter," Walton told ESPN's Noam Young-Miskuk in a recent interview. "We are in here every day grinding and working on getting better." And I quote, "With anything within the team, if I feel there is a disruption between our team and between the people within these walls, I just bring everyone to the film room and talk about it. I air it out. I don't care if it is uncomfortable. Something I learned from Steve Kerr is to never let a small thing turn into a big thing. Nip it in the bud right away. There have been a couple of times where we aired it and issues out, and most of the time it is nothing. But as long as we talk about it and move forward as a group, it is back to where we are again. It is the people in our circle and bubble that are trying to move this thing in the right direction, as long as that circle is strong and that group has the trust in each other. It doesn't matter at all what anyone else has to say about us. So interesting words there from Luke Walton talking about the Lavar Ball criticism thing, sort of playing his son more, pushing his son harder, stuff like that. Pretty interesting right there, guys. And we will have to see how this ends up in the future, because it's not going to end up good. Moving on, Indianapolis, finally, the final news segment of this podcast. Indianapolis to host the 2021 NBA All-Star Game at Pacers Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Interesting, guys. It's going to Indianapolis in 2021, about 4 years from now. That's where the All-Star Game is going to be played. Indianapolis will host the 2021 NBA All-Star Game, the league announced Wednesday. The game will be held at the Pacers Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, which hasn't hosted the event since 1985 when it was played at the Hoosier Dome. And I quote, "Indianapolis has an enduring love for basketball that creates a special connection to our All-Star Game," Commissioner Adam Silver said during a news conference at the stadium. "I want to especially thank Herb Simmons for his efforts to bring the All-Star festivities back to Indianapolis, as well as acknowledge the strong support we received from Governor Holcomb, Mayor Hogsett, Larry Bird, Rick Fusion, and the entire Pacers organization. Future sites for the game include Los Angeles 2018, Charlotte 2019, and Chicago 2020. We are thrilled with the NBA's decision to bring its showcase event, the NBA All-Star Game, to Indianapolis in 2021, said Holcomb. No state nurtures and loves the game of basketball more than Indiana, and I am certain that my fellow Hoosiers will embrace the game and related events with uncommon passion and support." Pretty interesting words there, guys. So Indianapolis is going to be hosting the 2021 All-Star Game. It's going to be interesting to see how that pans out, guys. It hasn't been there since 1985, so almost... Wow. It hasn't been there for over 30-something years, maybe even 40-something years when 2021 rolls around. Pretty interesting to think about that, guys. In that sense, have to give Indiana credit. Happy that it is going back to Indiana. But other than that, that is all I have for you guys tonight. Thank you for listening to this podcast. If you went on to enjoy it, please hit a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new to the channel, as well as, of course, checking out my other podcast on my channel. I do a soccer podcast, I do football podcasts, and I also do, of course, an NBA news and basketball podcast of any sort. Thank you for listening, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace, guys. Stay tuned for tomorrow, where we're going to be talking about some NFL news. Stay tuned. Peace, guys. Have a good one.